Yeah, we've got another clip from Fox Nation and Judge Jeanine's exclusive interview with Daniel Penny, the Marine vet revealing what he would say to the jury who cleared him in the subway chokehold death of Jordan Neely.
A jury of your peers, Danny, felt unanimously, beyond a reasonable doubt, that you committed no wrongdoing. What would you say to them?
I'd like to give them a hug. I'd like to thank them. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it takes a lot of courage, especially in this climate in New York City, to stick up for me.
Yeah, Penny also answering a big question that's on the mind of a lot of people.
Will you take the subway again?
Yeah, and I have been. I believe in New York. I love New York.
Knowing what you know now, Danny, if you faced the same situation again, would you do it again?
Yeah, totally. I would not be able to live with myself if I didn't do anything in that situation and someone got hurt. I would feel guilty for the rest of my life.
Yeah, meanwhile, the crazies on the left are ratcheting up the hate and division over this verdict. Outgoing squad member Rep. Jamal Bowman, famous for pulling a fire alarm, posted on X, "Dear white people, I don't know why I feel the need to keep talking to you. I don't know why part of me still has hope for you and for us. Some of you are too far gone, but maybe enough of you aren't and will join us in fighting to end white supremacy." And the BLM leader who vowed riots if Penny was cleared, yeah, well, she's flying into a rage about race. Watch this.
If Jordan Neely was a white man, we'd be saying it was an opioid crisis. He was hungry. He was mentally ill. He had a muffin in his pocket. What about a white man during cross-examination who said that he was afraid of Daniel Penny, the one who poured water onto his head and said that he was afraid? He was a white man.
Yeah, okay, so... And
what about the Latino man who was holding his arms?
I'm not the one identifying everyone by race. You are.
Judge, I need to go to you first. What did you take from Daniel Penny's reflection about the courage of the jury, and he'd do it again?
You know, it's interesting because Danny said that he wasn't a political person. He says it in the interview. He says it's not something that I normally follow. But he was savvy enough to understand, in spite of that it not only took courage for this jury to do what they did, because he knew that this was a political, like a pipe bomb. They were trying to make it about race. And he recognized the courage, and he said he wanted to hug them. And I got to tell you, you know, there were camera guys in there, and there were a lot of people in there, floor people, and guys cheered up when he said that he wanted to hug them. He is as honest, as believable, and as credible as anyone I have ever met. And, you know, he was beaten by the system, and he talked about the system. He said, you know, the system isn't serving us the way it's supposed to be, which I thought was a lot coming from him as well. But he had the, and I said this yesterday, the stoicism of, you know, someone who could be stoic with all this chaos around him, but he also had the courage of a lion, that he knew that was deadly physical force. And I just want to say one thing to these bozo idiots.
Yeah.
Number one, it's not about evil white supremacy. The truth is that Jordan Neely, an African-American, a black man, was on a list of the most needy, mentally ill, homeless people in New York City, most resistant to help. A list of 50 out of 8 million people. Where are all these do-gooders trying to help him get off that list? Where was his family trying to help him get off that list? And Jamal Bowman, part of the reason that you lost is because you didn't do anything for your own constituency. He could have done something. You know, there's a homeless minority that is terrifying people in New York City. And, you know, this guy, Jordan Neely, was jacked up on K2. It took 3 men to hold him down, a black man and a Hispanic man. It took a black and a Hispanic and an Asian to convict him. There were blacks and Hispanics on that car. Stop making this about race. If you're too stupid to understand the justification law in New York, keep your mouth shut.
Harold, I want to just bring it to you just because Judge ended on it. Bowman's not going to be in Congress. For all accounts, what he's selling, people aren't buying. And so why he's still peddling it, I really don't know. Do you think Democrats as a whole, just the country as a whole, are moving away? Because I've said for a long time, the word racist might be the least effective word left because it's been overused and manipulated so much.
So I think a couple of things. First off, you did a great interview. And I didn't get a chance to tell you that publicly. It was well done. Very, very good. Two, I don't think of Jamal Bowman's comments as being serious. I met him once. I don't know him. The fact that we show it is giving him far more attention than he even deserves. To start a letter off or a note off saying, "Dear white people," is just nonsensical. Three, and you weren't saying this, I think it's nonsensical. Three, the jury did what I wanted them to do. They made it safe for people to act on behalf of someone who, the only person sitting at this table doesn't have two of his limbs. You believe so much in this country, you gave and went out and defended us and almost gave your life doing it. You want people in our country to believe in their country and believe in their fellow humanity that way. And the jury, I think, ultimately decided that. I don't think of the jury as being I don't think of them as racial units. You don't either, but these guys out here talking about this way, and I think Dan Abrams was going to follow if we played the rest of the clip. That's what he was trying to say to the BLM leader. She has every right to believe that. I don't think we're advancing any cause, public safety, humanity, anti-racism when you talk like that. I was on the subway today. I've been on the subway 3 times a day. And in our last segment, I saw a picture in the subway on the F line, not far from here, of a friend of mine who had said wanted. And I looked at it, it said profiteer, and it listed what he does for a living and said, if you see him, you know what to do.
Wow.
Now I'm thinking, what have we come to where, to your point, all of our points, we all agree that violence is accepted this way. Now, this is the Daniel Penny segment, I know. I am so happy for him. I hope he gets his architecture degree. I think he's going for an architecture degree, and I hope he gets a great job. And I love his spirit. And I love the way he doesn't seem to be at all defensive or angry.
No.
Even though I didn't see the part about what he said about the system, but he has been vindicated, and I wish him nothing but the best and nothing but blessings going forward.
But he has a civil lawsuit now.
I wish him blessings in that too.
Yep.
Jesse, we've said at this table since I've been here this week, this idea that maybe him being found innocent would not stop people from stepping in. But I kind of see it the other way around. He was still put on trial. He was still charged and put on trial. You saw the judge make moves that kind of put against his favor. And now there are people giving him death threats. So even though he was found innocent, is the result of all of this that people in New York are saying, you know what, better not step in because I might get charged too?
Well, I've canceled all car services going forward, and I'm taking the subway now just because I just want to be out there in case. And my mother raised me to have good manners. And so when Jamal Bowman writes a letter to white people, I think I have to respond. So I wrote a letter to black people.
No, you should write a letter to him.
Dear,
Do I hold your
gosh.
hand? Okay.
dear black people, this letter is in response to Jamal Bowman's letter to whites. But first, some housekeeping. We love Harold.
Please don't put me in.
Thank you for sharing Harold with us. He's an absolute delight. Bowman, on the other hand, is too racist to serve on a jury and too anti-Semitic to serve in Congress, and I feel bad for him. And I'm sure he would like me if we met, but that's probably not going to happen, so please talk to him. And after that, let me know any whites you'd want me to talk to, and I'd be happy to do it. I have some whites in mind. Thank you so much.
Yeah, end it there, Jesse.
But in all seriousness, the judge is absolutely right. This man was a ticking time bomb. Yep. Bragg should be recalled.
Yep.
And for anybody that doesn't live in this area, that has no idea, never been on a subway, you are underground in a prison cell, and you're going 50, 60 miles an hour. And if some guy comes on there and starts threatening, there is nothing many people can do. It is a scary scene.
Dana, Eric Adams came out and essentially was supporting Daniel Penny. But at what point does the city take action and actually make things like riding the subway safer so you don't have to have Daniel Penny?
We were talking about the system not working. Well, the system's not working for the taxpayers and the people who are trying to go to work every day because the subway's not safe. Just a couple of hours ago, Downstairs, I watched two NYPD female officers having to deal with a guy that I'd seen 2 hours before sleeping in the middle of the floor. He's homeless, and they were being gentle. They were being kind. But if that guy had been like, what are we supposed to do? And for the lady from BLM, don't you want everybody who's trying to do the right thing and go to work and school to be safe? That's what Eric Adams is talking about. That's what Daniel Penny did. It shouldn't fall to Daniel Penny to have to do that.
Exactly.
And by the way, before Jamal Bowman was in Congress and pulled the fire alarm so that he could try to affect a vote and got caught doing that, he was a public school teacher.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember, yep.
All right.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.